Happy Monday. Happy fun day. And if this is the first time you are tuning in, or maybe for the 10th time you are tuning in, hello and welcome to the world of fashion unscripted. It's me, Irina Portnova, together with my co-host Dina Alexander. Drum rolls, da 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 da. So before we dive into today's topic, a couple of things. First of all, thank you so much for tuning in, whether you are watching live or you're going to be watching the replay. This podcast is all about love, intimacy, and all the uncomfortable conversations that maybe we have in our heads, but we are not really bold enough to bring them forward. That's why it's Dina and Irina without any limits, just talking about it. That's why it's unscripted. That's why it's uncensored. And we are talking about something that might be on the mind of everybody because, again, we are human beings. And if somebody says, I'm not interested in love, I'm not interested in intimacy, I think the invitation is start discovering that for yourself because it's part of who we are. And the more we can live in joy, the more we can explore that avenue, the more we are connected to our spirits, the more we are connected to our creative energy and to all the great things that happening in between. So again, hello, welcome. My name is Irina Portnova. I'm all about how can I help you to manifest your love and to manifest the confidence in love and to manifest that great attractive partner that you desire, meaning how can you bring it from your thoughts into the real existence. And I'm here today with my amazing co-host Dina Alexander. Dina, would you like to say a couple of words?
Yes, sending kisses to you over there. My name is Dina Alexander. As Irina just said just now, if you're watching us for the first time, or if you've been watching us every Monday Fun Day, welcome and write something in the caption. Let us know that you're there. So I am a personal coach, a relationship coach, and a sex coach. And I do believe in marrying sex with spirituality because we are human beings. We are not having sex just for the body. We can create, we can do whatever we want by using that energy. And that's what I'm all about.
Mm, I love that. I love that what you are sharing. And what I also wanted to say, we are right now in June 29th, if you are watching us in the real time, and it's actually the strawberry full moon. And I just wanted to say a couple of words about that energy because full moon is all about releasing something that doesn't serve us. And the invitation is maybe you want to release your fear when it comes to intimacy or love, or maybe you want to release any past experiences that were negative and you kind of don't want to move forward, opening your heart for another relationship. I feel this strawberry moon is actually, I love it. Strawberry, not that there is like strawberries planted on the moon.
No.
Energy to connect, right? It's a great energy to connect and just realize that we can actually, all the time, there is something to release for us because we are, alive. And just, my invitation, what is it when it comes to love and intimacy? What is something that you are ready to release? Because again, this is also a great time to manifest. We first want to release and then we want to welcome something new, right? But if we are holding to something old, there is no space to invite something new, right? So make sure that you create that space by releasing something that is not serving you anymore. And I know Dina might also want to add something to that because she works with energy as well. Dina, what would you want to?
Yes.
Yes, as far as strawberry full moon, what is something that you would want to tell to our audience?
You know what comes to mind while you were talking? And I'm not much into full moon and that energy, but I think It's a beautiful energy. It's not because I'm not in it because it's something bad. No, I love it, but I do so
Mhm.
many things, and
Yeah,
and
totally.
do everything. So
Yeah.
what I what comes to me at this moment is, if you believe like me in in energy, and I want to say magic.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you believe in energy and the magic of that energy of strawberry moon, please do connect. If you know how to connect, if you don't know how to connect, please do um, connect with us. Write us in a message, say you want to learn how to connect to the strawberry moon, and I can help you with that. But more
Mm-hmm.
information about strawberry moon, that Irina has all of it, and I do think we need. That's why we are here on Earth. We need
Yep.
to connect with everything that the universe has is providing us, and that's
Yep.
how you live. That's how you live.
Absolutely. And again, moon is something that actually connects to our emotions. And the more we understand that, right, we all are influenced. Like, moon is influencing the tides in the ocean. Same thing, it are actually influencing our emotions, right? And the more we understand that, sometimes we kind of like, why am I acting this way? It has something to do with the moon. So this is like another point. But let's go back to our amazing topic, because my question is, what if the relationship you are hoping for isn't waiting for a different person, but for one
Mhm.
courageous conversation? Because a lot of people believe love falls apart because the feelings disappear. But more often, love begins to drift when fear becomes louder than honesty. We wait for the perfect moment. We wait for the other person to reach out first. We wait until we are sure we won't get hurt. And while we are waiting, the distance quietly grows. So, today we are going to cover a couple of interesting points about the courage to go first, because sometimes the smallest act of courage becomes the moment that changes everything. Dina, would you like to add something to that?
Yes, yes. You know, this is a topic that quietly keeps a lot of relationships stuck, and not because people don't love each other. It's because, and it's also not because they don't care, but because people are just waiting, Irina, waiting, waiting for the one person to text first, waiting for the apology, waiting for the conversation, waiting for the kiss. Can you believe that? Waiting for an invitation, waiting for someone else to become vulnerable first. And while both people are waiting, love is standing completely still.
Mm.
And here is a sacred sexual awareness truth that might challenge the one that is listening today. Sometimes the relationship you've been praying for is waiting for you to become brave enough to move first. And this is not because you're weak, not because you're desperate. You have to move because courage has always been one of the sexiest energies in love. And let's talk about it. I love this topic. This is just sassy. Let me paint let me paint you a picture. Two people care deeply about each other. One is thinking, I wish they could call. The other is thinking, I wish they would call. One wants to apologize, the other is waiting to hear it first. Well, the one wants to hold hands, and the other wants exactly the same thing, and yet nothing happens. And why? Pride. Pride enters the relationship, disguised as protection. And pride, has destroyed more intimacy than honesty ever will. Sometimes we're not protecting our hearts, we are protecting our egos. and that it cost enormous. Do you want to share something?
Yeah, you know what? I feel also, like it, because pride is part of who I am as the Leo, right? And I feel like I'm always open. I'm always open, but let's say if there was some kind of conversation that left two people kind of distant, I'm always open to receive, but sometimes I am waiting for that person to act first because depends where we left off, right? So for me, this is like a very important piece. Like I'm always receiving, so I'm okay if person reaches out, and I'm always open for the conversation. I'm always open for, fixing it, but I wouldn't be the one to reach first if again like the way that we left off was kind of like something that has been decided between us.
Yes. You know what? I'm going. Yes, you talked about yourself. I'm going to share something. I always was like this. How I'm going to explain now. I always do give 100%, 120%, 200% at first instance. I'm always like that. I've trained myself because that's how I am.
Mhm.
If I started to dim my light, you will never feel Dina. However, there are sometimes that something tells me, and that's divine, that's the divine is telling me, hold and sit back and just look, observe.
Mhm.
And that's a feeling I really get. I hold, I sit back and I observe because I have been giving. And
Mhm.
while I'm observing, I see if I still need to keep on giving or lower, decreasing, or or stop giving.
Yeah.
And it happens.
Decrease your availability. That's for the woman is the most important thing. Like decrease our availability to give the energy and time and attention.
Yes, and that's how it works for me. But and then that's what I tell my clients also. If you need to see what works for you, what you are doing works for you, and it's totally the same, the different. You know what I'm saying? And that's why a coach for me is very important because it it holds space for you to check or to test whatever works
Mhm.
for you. And you know
Mhm.
what? Protecting your heart is healthy. Closing your heart is different. And
Yep.
that is where coaching comes in. You know, protecting your heart says, I have boundaries. That's what we are talking about. And your way of doing and my way of doing. Closing your heart says, I refuse to risk anything. One creates wisdom and the other creates this distance. Many people believe they're protecting themselves, Irina, but what they're really protecting are fear of rejection. And you
Mhm.
know what? I could be very honest with you. Hey, I like you. I love what I see. And if you said no, I don't feel attraction, uh, I will not like you less. I just am aware that that is not the way that I should continue. That's how I am. I'm not afraid to tell you, hey, I definitely like the way you are. Oh, we have a visitor.
Yeah. Look at this beautiful comment.
Hey, go ahead. You want to read
Yeah,
it?
standstill lab will be like a standstill pond, which will feed on mosquitoes. Love that. And nothing will move. Ego in us will just leave the courageous behind. Why are we built on our timidness since young? So true. So this is such a great point from this viewer. So what comes to me is being courageous depends on the situation, right? Like we were saying, like if there is reason for the pause. There is a reason for the pause, and there is no point. It's just, oh, it's Al. Yay, because we couldn't see if this is you or not. Yes. So basically, so true, Al. So basically, what happens is there is a difference between the pause and the difference when we are courageous in terms of if there is any difficult conversation that bubbles, right? Or we see that our partner isn't behaving the way that we would love them to behave based on our past interaction, or something is off. For me, the courageous step is to actually name it, identify it, and just actually put it out there. Put it out there, like on a table. Okay, let's talk about it. That's
Yes.
the way I look at it.
Yes. You know what? I'm totally agree with Elle. But you know what, Elle? I will challenge you because we all have our egos. We all, everybody. Okay? So I tell everybody, if you are aware which ego you need to lower their energy, or which ego can help you be successful, thumbs up. But in the relationship, I would lower every ego. That's the secret. If one is big enough, one of the couple is big enough to lower their ego constantly, that relationship will work.
Mhm.
I'm not saying that you should be weak. Lowering ego is different than being weak. Lowering ego is what I just explained. Okay? I think lowering ego is really confidence, okay? And let's get a little bit sassy. I'm going to use L because I lowering ego for me is being confidence. And confidence is attractive. But courage is unforgetful. And there is something deeply magnetic about someone who says, I need to tell you something. I miss you. I was wrong. I love you. I've been afraid. I don't want to keep on pretending.
Mhm.
That kind of honesty creates emotional intimacy. Not because it's perfect, but because it's real. And
Mhm.
authenticity is incredible seductive. People don't fall deeply in love with perfection, they fall in love with truth. And can you imagine someone looking in your eyes and tell you these words? Everybody will fall for you. But you
Mhm.
okay?
Mhm. You know what comes to me, Dina? I think it's also based on the circumstances, because if one person is always the one to make that first step, it's like I don't feel like this is a two-sided relationship. So again, when we talk about taking the first step, it has to be balanced, because a lot of times what I notice, when the person actually is willing to be vulnerable and to say the other person, again, because we are a lot of times ego driven without actually being aware. So when one partner used to another person to always step up, to always apologize, to always look to fix it, then that partner would never learn to be strong enough to actually also do the same thing. And the worst case scenario, that partner starts taking the person who goes first for granted, because they are going to be expectant, right? So when I look at this situation, it's actually, when saying courage to go first, my first inclination is courage to go first when something is uncomfortable and the person is not sitting and just swallowing it, but more like stepping up and saying, you know what, I feel something is off, and I am here to talk about it. I'm not here just to go about our life and say that everything is good or close my eyes because I'm so freaking scared that my partner is going to leave me. No, The courage is actually to have these uncomfortable conversations. The courage is actually to bring the person into reality. And this is like my gift that I love to do to men. That's why, like I'm very challenging, because they say I bring them back to the ground from, like going up there, because I love these kind of conversation. Like I can, compliment and be, like best raving fan, but once there is the truth that has to show up, I deliver it raw and real. And sometimes it really, diminishes their ego, but I'm totally fine with that, because I'm also receptive. Like if there is anything you want to say to my eyes straight, I'm ready to take it.
One conversation, as you said, that
Yeah.
it's all what it sometimes it takes. One honest
Mhm.
conversation. And that
Yeah.
conversation, that apology that heals, the question
Mhm.
that reconnects, the truth that clears confusion. That's where you want to go. And I want to go back to why waiting feels safer, okay?
Mhm.
It's because waiting postpones vulnerability, and the longer you postpone it, everything happens. And you and maybe when your relationship ends, then you will regret that you have not been vulnerable earlier, but then it's too late. Okay? Or maybe you won't invest in your relationship at this moment because you need to fix something in your home. And if you wait a little bit longer, and it can really jeopardize your relationship, and you need to be very aware. And I'm not threatening. This happened with one or two of my clients. Okay, they come to my discovery session, and I discover that I can help them, and I tell them this is an investment. And they said to me, no, I need to buy an air conditioning. We just were talking about this heat. You need an air conditioner. I need to buy
Mhm.
an air conditioning. I need to fix the gate, front gate. I told them, look, you know where I am. When you're ready, you can come. And I think last week I heard they divorced. Why? You invested in the relationship. Why? You need to keep investing to keep that business alive. It's a marriage is a business. Why would you throw it away? So, what comes up to you?
What comes up to me is exactly what it is. Like I think there is a fear, and it was also part of my marriage, where I was afraid to say it how it is, because I felt that it's going to actually, like rock the boat. And, like again, there is nothing to be afraid, because if that relationship is meant to stay, it will stay. If it's already going down the hill, just by voicing your truth is not going to make it worse. If anything, you can actually bring that respect back to yourself. And this is exactly the courage of going first. When you notice that something is off, and you are not pretending that everything is good, and you are actually, coming up front and say, hey, this is the way that I experience our relationship, and this is why I want to speak, right? And this is why I want to be truthful, right? What is something that's on your heart? What is something, do you really want to work on it? Or you just decided to check yourself out? Because this is important. Again, by ignoring, by like accommodating that partner, it's not the way to save your relationship, because you know what, you'd be the one to drown in it. Even if
Yeah.
you are staying together, it doesn't mean that it's healthy for yourself, right? So again, the courage of going first. Yes, I love, like admitting something. Let's say if I am wrong, I have no problem to, reach out first. But if I know what I'm standing for, then it's going to be the job of my partner to reach out first. But What I can promise for sure, the courage to go first. I will always name the things for what they are. And I will always be open to seek the resolution, whether this is to stay together and work on it or just, release each other, because this is also the decision. And the more we sit in indecision, the more painful it is, because we are just doubting ourselves. We are putting too many scenarios in our heads, and we are not actually feeling satisfied or complete.
True, totally with you. With the exception of what you said first, I want to add on, okay? Because you
Mhm.
said that if, correct me if I'm wrong, because this is what I heard. You said if a relationship, there is no way to communicate and be open to tell what your needs, and the relationship goes down if you do not share your what you wanted to talk about, it will go on down despite of you communicating or not communicating, something like that you said.
Correct, because again, two people have to be willing to do it. If one partner already checked out from that relationship, no matter what you do, you're not going to save it. All it takes for you is to be strong enough to face it and to ask, like, what is something that you desire for our relationship? Because again, it takes two to tango, and I know it for a fact.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, I wanted just to make sure that's what you said.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so I do disagree in this matter. Let me explain. I see a marriage as a business. Okay, once you start a business, there are times you need to have meetings. You need there
Correct.
you change.
Yes.
The business change on a daily basis.
Yep.
The business change and we change. Okay,
Yes.
so
Totally.
if there is a possibility that someone or a coach or whomever comes in this relationship and instruct this communication style, it can salvage a relationship. You just need to communicate. You need to have communication days, and I'm not talking about every day, because that will harm the relationship also. Every day criticizing and saying something is not good is terminal for the
Yep.
relationship.
Yep. Yep.
You'll need to have a specific date or a week, bi-weekly, a date to converse, to communicate about these difficult situations. And after that day, do not communicate anymore. Agree to what, or apply what you agreed with your partner, business partner, marriage partner, romantic partner. You need to apply what you agreed, because if you don't, that's disrespectful. Okay. Um, I wanted to share some practical tips because time is.
Okay. Can I just add to that, because I'm still not agreeing 100%? Because from manifestation standpoint, again, Dina, the main thing is when people want to work on it. If one partner already checked himself out, if he, I'm talking he because I'm a woman, if he already said, I do not care what happens with this marriage, I'm already out, there is no point of, saving something that is not there, because again, we all have the free will. And until there is an agreement from both partners that this is something they are willing to work on, you are not going to save it. And I tell you another thing, but it doesn't mean that the person is not working with the coach, the one who wants to fix the situation, because this is what happens. Once that person is willing to work, it means that she is releasing that person who doesn't belong into her life anymore, and she's actually attracting somebody better. Again, there are no guarantees in life that when we work with somebody that these people are going to stay together, unless they are willingly want to be with each other. That's a different story.
Yeah,
But
but
when one person is already checking themselves out, no matter how much work you input in that person that you're working with, the best thing is going to be for that person to release the current relationship and attract somebody better. Like, this is exactly how it works. And for people not to be afraid that, sometimes we are just so grasping to something what we have because we feel this is the best what we can in our own awareness. But the more we allow the universe to deliver, the more we are releasing. Again, if
that's what
I'm
I'm
the
saying.
one to work on that, and I'm talking about my, personal
Yeah,
experience,
no,
that's
I
how
know.
I know it, right?
I know. That's
I'm
why I
not
feel.
there. I'm not there to grab that guy and keep
Oh,
them with me because, this is how I want it. No, it
no, I
doesn't
don't.
work this way.
I
So
I
if
don't.
the other person checks
I don't say
themselves
that.
out, even though they are still in the relationship, that means we are working on ourselves to feel totally okay to release that person when the time comes, and know that we are at that state where we can attract somebody much better. So that's what I wanted to say.
And I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that you should believe. I'm saying something different. I do believe that when someone checks out, tells you today checks out, because I have couples that have been doing that. I'm finished with this relationship. And after a week, these two are back together. So if you on an emotional basis are going to make a decision, I tell you, maybe you should center yourself first
Mhm.
and then make a decision afterwards. So
Again, if
that's all
people
what I'm
are
saying.
on
So
and
I'm not
off, it's
saying that.
Yeah, when people are on and off, it's a different
Yes,
story. But when somebody already made the
yes,
decision, right? Let's say they are already suffering in that connection for a year, and they said, you know what, I'm just ready to exit out, but that woman is trying to bring them back again and again. It's like trying to resuscitate somebody who is already, like halfway on the other side, right? So, no,
no,
this is
I
what
don't.
I'm talking about. When there is that sudden decision that made by woman or a man, and they know that this is not something that they want going forward, that's exactly what I'm referring to.
Oh, the time went by.
Yeah, it was a great conversation. So we really want to hear from anybody who has their point of view, but that's exactly how it is. I always say it takes two to tango. It can't be that one person is doing all the labor and the other person is just there. Trust me, that is going to fall one way or another if there is only one person working and another person is just there, because if that second person is having at least corner of their mind saying yes, then it's possible. But if the person completely checked themselves out, no, there is no need for that. So that's the way I look at this situation. All right, so you wanted to wrap it up?
Yes, please, because I have a client coming in just now.
Yes, 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 yes. So yeah, let's wrap it up.
So I think if you're listening to us and you want more because we haven't finished, maybe we should do a sequel next
Second
week.
one. Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. And maybe you're listening and this is happening to you, contact us and let's have a talk. And maybe something can happen. And maybe you'll decide to stay or you'll decide to go.
Exactly, exactly. Yep. Well, thank you so much. Thank you, Elle, for stopping by. And for anybody who is listening to this episode, share it with somebody who might benefit. But remember, there is no need for us to stay somewhere where we are not welcome. And there is always a way to work, but it takes two to tango. That's my conversation. I am not there to save anybody's life. I'm here for myself. All right. Okay, thank you so much, Dina, and everybody. We'll see you next Monday. Bye.
Bye.